Hi, have you updated your security baseline formats in Microsoft Intune? In May 2023, Intune obviously rolled out a new baseline format, and the update process for those format is different. To get to the new format, however, you need to upgrade your existing profiles to the new format. And that's a manual process. So I'm going to walk you through the manual process very quickly. You can read more about the process on the documentation. But let's jump to the Intune portal, and I'll show you how we do a manual upgrade to the new format. So here I've got my list of security baselines. I've got security baseline for Windows 10. I've got a few in there. And this Windows 10 baseline from November 2021 was made before May 2023, and therefore it needs a manual upgrade. Just let me show you the difference. One that was, okay, the date name is incorrect, but if I go to change the version, I get the new update process for the new format where I can select the security baseline, etc. This is all well documented and standard at the moment. Let me discard that. But the new to update to that new format, this profile, for example, if I click on change version, you can see it's a different process, and it does say that it requires a manual upgrade. So the process is quite simple. You need to export the profile settings first. So you come here and you click on change version and you click on export the profile settings. Here you'll get a CSV file that will then detail any of the customizations that you may have. So I'm going to open my customization file or my settings file. And then what I do is I select all in Excel here and I create a filter, and I'm filtering out anything that is not applicable. So all the not applicables are where the setting is standard. It's what comes with the security baseline. You haven't customized it at all. And then I'm left with a few settings. In this example, I've only got two settings that are customized. And so if I look here, the first one is under general configuration, password minimum character set count. The default is 3, and in mine I've set it to 4. And then the other one is the Windows Spotlight blocked. The default is true and I've set it to false. Okay, so now I have the information about what settings I need to change. I then go back to my Intune portal, and the process suggests that you create a new policy from this portal, from this profile. I'm not gonna do that right away. I will do that, but I'm first going to create a duplicate of this. So on the end, on the ellipsis, I'm going to click duplicate, and I'm going to give this a name, and I'm going to use the same name, Windows 10 baseline policy duplicate. Okay, and what I always like to do is include a bracket, open and close bracket, and I usually give this a description. Security baseline for Windows 10 or later to be upgraded. Okay, and I'll explain the open brackets in a moment. So now it's created a duplicate. Here we go. And I can see that the baseline it's based on is November 2021. So that name or date is issued by Intune. What I do is I then copy that and just go into the properties of my duplicate. This is just so that I know which policies or which profiles are which, and go to the basic settings and edit the name. And I'm just going to include that November 2021 in the name, just so that when I see it later on, I can see what it was based on. Okay, so now I should have a duplicate profile that is ready to be converted. I still have to go through the manual process. So let's just have a look. So now I have this one here, which to change the version gives me the same process. Okay, now that I've got a duplicate, I'm going to work on this duplicate. If I make mistakes, I can go back to the original. The original will still be there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new profile, right? And this time I'm going to use a different naming convention. I'm actually going to call it what it is, but I'm still going to include the brackets. Updated format of security baseline for Windows 10 and later, right? Next, now the configurations that I need to make, I need to go back to that Excel spreadsheet or that CSV that was exported and re-customize the settings that I need to customize. So this is creating a brand new profile using the new format, not the old format. It's using a format which was introduced in May 2023. And so now I need to go and find those settings that were previously documented in the Excel spreadsheet. Now I know that one of which was the Spotlight, allow Windows Spotlight. And I'm actually going to say not configured because that's what we had in our customization. And the other was device lock was minimum device password length. Actually, it was a maximum. Let's just double check. Password minimum character set. Okay, that's a setting that isn't exactly the same. So minimum device password length, it's configured, but I'm going to make it 4 as opposed to 14. Okay, so now I should have the same settings as what I had before. So bear in mind the settings names are different, and even some of the settings don't exist in the new format because they've split some of the settings out, like Defender for Endpoint settings are in a Defender for Endpoint baseline. Okay, now that I've customized this, I've created a new policy, a new profile. I'm not going to assign it to anyone just yet, but you could assign it to a test group of devices. Review and create. So now I'm creating this profile. Create. Okay, it'll take a couple of seconds to create the profile. And once I'm happy with the settings in that profile and I've applied it to a test group of devices and I've verified that they work as expected, I can then come back and delete that duplicate. So this is the duplicate that we're working on. Here's my new profile. Okay, actually, before I do that, I'm going to rename it. Go back. And so you see here the version is called version 24H2. I'm going to go into this, go into the basic settings, edit the basic settings, and just enter that name into the display name, or that version into the display name. This just helps me later on when I am not sure when a profile was created or what it was based off of, which baseline. I have it in the name. All right, so now it's updated. Now I've deployed it, I can come back here and I can delete this duplicate because now it's no longer required and it's all been tested. So I will delete the duplicate. And ideally, when I'm happy, I would delete the original one right at the end. Delete that one. And that is essentially the process for updating to the new format.